So, we have these. Let's go back to this idea. So the idea is, you start with a blitz, and if that fails, you move to this. I think this actually can take care of almost everything you could ever come across. But I also recognize that at some point, you know, especially at the early stages of your training, you might not have quite the subtlety or the maneuverability to make it do everything you want, right? So the question is, what happens if this fails? What do you do then? Go home. Hey? Somebody here has been paying attention. That's exactly right. You move on to Conversational Pattern 3. Now, if anyone can tell me what that is, it's a miracle because we haven't actually covered it yet. Damn it, you guys are good. Exactly that. So the two things that can happen here to get you stuck, the two most common things, are things you've actually experienced already. Number one is running round and round in a loop. Okay? That's typically that you haven't put enough focus on a particular symbol and a particular idea, and you're allowing them to loop because you know you're getting close and you're backing off, you're getting close, you're backing off, right? The other thing that can happen is that you get a block. Basically, it'll be like a massive emotion arises, and people will just go, I don't know what to do this. They can't even process your thoughts anymore because there's this huge emotion coming up and they can't get beyond that, right? Now, you can actually still do this without emotion. It's just it requires a little bit more sensitivity and a little bit more fine-tuning. However, in the meantime, whilst you're building that, in order to create the, shall we say, the fluency to work with strong emotions, that's right, strong emotions, you turn to a regression. Now, we're going to start working with regressions now, and I'd like you to realize that, first of all, we're going to be doing regressions relatively formalistically. In other words, although this is a conversational hypnosis program, we're going to do it pretty much by the numbers, so have clear delineated steps for you to take through. This is largely to allow your conscious mind a little bit of leeway so you can start catching up with the rest of your mind, right? And it's also because when you start doing it formally, you'll understand the things you're trying to achieve, and then later, when we talk a little bit about how to do this conversationally, you'll understand what we're doing with it, even though you don't have to necessarily do it until you've had experiences with the one form, because it gives you the chance to get experiences and know what you're looking for. And then when you take the form away, as you've noticed, once you've had those experiences, you're still looking for the same things. It's just they don't know what you're doing anymore. Does that make sense to you guys? So we're going to focus from now on, at least with CP3 and 4, on more formal structures, and then we'll give you some keys or some ideas as to how to turn any formal structure into a conversational structure. And by the way, you know what the key to that is already? You do. You really, really do. It's attention. Just ask yourself, what's happening to the attention at each step of a sequence? And if you can do it with a formal set of instructions, you can also imply it through language. But that's getting a little bit more complex, so we'll talk about that more once you've actually had the experiences. So, this is kind of where we are right now. Do you kind of understand what we're going for this? Are you okay with patterns 1 and 2? They are now your bread and butter. You've been doing it. CP1 is like nothing compared to CP2, right? And CP2 is pretty easy now that you've done it a few times. Or am I wrong? Go on, tell me I'm wrong. I dare you. I have a loop just waiting to be fired up if someone tells me I'm wrong. Oh, fuck. I was bluffing. So, do you see why at this point my mind starts blowing rather than yours? Because now I have 100 hypnotists who know what I'm doing and can do right back at me. So I have to be very careful from this point forward.